And here we go. We're live. Welcome to episode 27 of the Bottom Line Podcast. We're going to be going balls deep in college football today. And here I am your host, Davidson Baker. If you didn't know, now you know. And I'm joined by Buckeye through and through, my good friend Tyler Rice. Mr. Rice, let everybody know how you're doing today.
Hey, we're doing pretty good today. Just got off work a couple hours ago, and I'm here to talk some college football with my boy Baker.
All right, let's do it. Without any further ado, let's get started. So basically, like I said, balls deep is not an exaggeration really at all. We're going to be going through just about every single detail of the Power Five and any type of notes that we might have for the Group of Five, as well as our Heisman watch and look through easiest and hardest schedules, as well as All-Americans. So without further ado, I believe that brings us to start in the ACC. And in the ACC, I believe you and I are both in agreement of who we think is going to win the conference.
Yeah, I went with Clemson, and really not that hard of a pick, seeing as they're loaded once again like they have been, the past 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah, they don't play the U this year, and their toughest ACC game is at FSU. And even if they lose that game, I still think they'll take the ACC because FSU has to go on the road to Miami, NC State, and Louisville, which they'll probably drop 2 or 3 possibly. And they also have to open up at Vatech. So even if Clemson drops the game in Tallahassee, odds are Florida State doesn't go 7-1 ACC play, and they'll probably lose 2, and Clemson lose 1. And yeah, I went with Clemson in the ACC for I don't know how many years in a row it is, 3, 4.
Yeah, it'd be somewhere around there at this point. Clemson, I find it ridiculous that Clemson's entire defensive line might go in the first round of next year's draft. I think that's
Debo's been recruiting out of his mind lately. He actually snagged a stinking number 1 tackle out of Ohio just this past recruiting class out of Urban's backyard.
Man.
Yeah.
And I fully expect Hunter Lawrence to be the guy that ends up taking that starting quarterback spot over Kelly Bryant. And they also have the biggest non-conference game in the schedule as well. Who would have thought that Jimbo Fisher leaving Florida State and heading to Texas A&M would have created an opportunity for them to get Clemson in a home game on September 8th, as that's what I believe is the biggest non-conference game. Do you have any thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, it's going to be a very big test for Jimbo in his first year, but I think Clemson's more than likely going to handle him. Jimbo's not going to be ready for that one, but we'll see. Clemson should smack him, though, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that game has a lot of juicy storylines in it as well. As far as the biggest game inside of the conference, as you alluded to it, I don't see anybody really giving them a test out of the Atlantic. I believe they're on the Atlantic side. And then the 2 best teams on the coastal side of the ACC by far are Miami and Vatech. And that game that they have on November 17th could very well determine who gives Clemson the biggest test of the regular season.
Correct. Wait, you think Lawrence is going to win the job, though?
I do.
Well, I mean, I didn't really watch Clemson much outside of the Bama game, and I mean, he didn't look very good against Bama. He was very limited. He couldn't do anything downfield at all.
Talking about Kelly Bryant?
Yeah, Kelly Bryant, that is. My bad.
Yeah, I think. Have you seen any tape on this kid, Lawrence?
He's like a bigger dude, right? 6'5".
Dude, he's a beast. He's got an absolute rocket of an arm.
Yeah, well, we'll see then. Lead him to the Final Four, and then you just get benched next year. That's crazy, but I guess that's what Bama's going to be doing too.
Yeah, my dark horse. Yeah, I did see that, by the way, and we'll get to Bama in just a few moments. But as far as a key player in this conference is concerned, I would say it's going to be whoever wins that starting quarterback job. I got to tell you, man, I would be surprised if they flip-flopped. I really think Trevor Lawrence is the guy. As far as coaches on the hot seat in the ACC, I really don't think there are any, especially with new guys coming in at Florida State and Willie Taggart. I don't know. Do you think there are any coaches on the hot seat in the ACC?
Oh, no, not exactly. I don't think so either. Maybe not even Dino. Dino just got there over there at Syracuse, and he's about his 2nd or 3rd year.
Yeah.
And he actually made some results. They beat Clemson last year, actually. But, yeah, I don't think so either. There's probably nobody on the hot seat in the ACC.
That was a miracle, too. I couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah. Shout out Mr. Valdez.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
As far as like we said at the beginning, the team that we think is going to take it. I got to go with Clemson. 40-4 in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's pretty impressive if you ask me.
You're just overall.
Yeah, at 40-4. It says that the next best record in the ACC over that time span is the U and Florida State, 27-12.
Florida State had a down year too.
Yeah, I don't know how much they'll be able to rebound, but my dark horse is definitely Miami. Mark Richt may not have those guys ready to play as far as playoff contendership right now, but I think that he might get them there with the swagger that program carries.
Is this? They might be having a different quarterback too. That one guy ended up getting benched at the end of the year, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think you're probably.
Clemson beat the dog crap out of them in the ACC title.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Clemson's the most talented team in the ACC.
Yeah, Clemson's more likely going to lose one time and go back to the Final Four. But yeah, I guess that's why we watch.
Right. And now we move on to everyone's favorite defensive conference, the Big 12.
Yeah.
Obviously the team that's going to be favored to win this conference are my Oklahoma Sooners. Can you formulate who you think might be their biggest challenge?
I mean, I want to say Texas, but who knows with Texas? They won their bowl game last year and looked like, they might have some good things coming into this year, but who knows with Texas? They always have good recruiting classes, and they haven't been able to turn it into many wins. But Tom Herman's a lot better coach than they've had in the past, and Charlie Strong, and this is his third year?
This will be Herman's second year.
Oh, second year. So, yeah, he gets some more of his guys in there, and, they could be a 10-win team this year, but I don't think they're going to take the Big 12 from Oklahoma. Oklahoma's won 11 of the last 18, and Oklahoma's just still more talented than the likes of TCU, West Virginia, and Texas. But, yeah, Texas is who I think, possibly even TCU or West Virginia, but we'll see. Oklahoma, yeah, they handled all them teams last year and just slipped up at Iowa State.
Yeah, and that'll be our first that'll be Oklahoma's first conference game that they'll have to go to.
Last year, right? It was Iowa State.
Yep. I thought the season was over at that point.
Yeah, then you guys just mollywopped everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much the Big 12. As far as, I would say my dark horse is Texas as well. I think you pretty much hit it on the head. It's just going to be really a determining factor of whether their offense can really get things clicking. Their defense is looking to probably set up pretty nicely.
And that kind of is weird because Tom Herman's, that offensive guru helped Ohio State win it all a few years ago, and you'd think that the offense would be – but like I said, he's got to get his guys in there, and once he does, I'm sure it'll look a lot different.
Yeah, I agree, and that's something that is something a lot of people are going to be thinking about, because just because Tom Herman was, as you said, a guy that really installed his system and implemented his offensive game plans on a lot of guys and on a lot of other teams when he was the OC up in Columbus.
Yeah, perfect balanced game all around, pound the rock and still go over top. I mean, it was fun to watch that year at Ohio State 2014 with him calling plays.
Yeah, and let alone whenever he was the OC at Houston, it was a perfect fit. So it is a little bit surprising that his defense is going to be where the strength lies. Biggest non-conference game in that conference for me, I don't know how you can't love a Chip Kelly versus Lincoln Riley matchup in week 2 as UCLA comes to Norman.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. I actually didn't even know UCLA and Oklahoma play. That's your guys' big one out of conference this year then? You just UCLA?
Yeah, that's it. And it's in Norman week 2.
Chip Kelly's second game of the year coming to Oklahoma. That's crazy. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one on him. You guys should beat him up, though. We'll see.
Yeah. They don't have all that much,
they'll have a couple of years, though. Chip Kelly knows what he's doing in college.
Right. Except, I don't know if he's going to have all that much talent at his disposal, but one thing I do know
right away,
there's going to be a lot of points put up in that game for sure.
Oh, yeah. It'd been crazy if Rosen would have stayed. Chip Kelly could have messed around with him.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I know. The biggest in-conference game for me would have to also include Oklahoma when they travel to TCU on October 20th.
Yeah. I mean, the game or the Texas game,
Yeah, you could put Texas in there. You could put the Oklahoma State and the West Virginia games both in there.
Oklahoma State will probably be a little more down this year. They lost their QB, right?
Yeah, they did. And James Washington, their kind of running back wide receiver hybrid.
Yeah. What about State, we haven't really talked about them. They beat you guys last year. The only team in the Big 12 to beat you guys.
Yeah, they're going to be an interesting case. I know they lost a lot of guys on defense. Their quarterback will be back, though. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Matt Campbell and those guys. That's Oklahoma's first game in conference play. We have to go on the road, being that they beat us in Norman. So,
really?
yeah, it was not good. They, however, let me see that.
Probably the worst game Baker played all year, obviously.
Yeah, and they went up quickly. Talking about the Sooners, that they were up quickly and kind of let things fall apart. As soon as they went up 14-0, it was because I remember I wasn't home and I didn't get to see much of it. Turnovers killed us though, and we shall see what happens in Ames, but they should be fired up to play that game. And Kyler Murray,
he got drafted like 11th overall in the LB, didn't he?
Yeah, he's going to be one of the first. He's going to be one of the first collegiate athletes to be making a professional sports salary while he's.
I'm pretty sure Shea Patterson signed too.
What?
With the team.
I didn't know that. Where did he go?
Yeah, I want to say the Rangers.
Huh.
Yeah, he was a baseball player too. Yeah, that's crazy. He was like a top 10 pick. Murray was, and he signed like a $3 million deal or something.
Yeah, and he's going to make every dime of that deal while he plays QB at Oklahoma.
Yeah, we'll see what he does.
Yeah, my biggest fear.
He's kind of short, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's crazy. He's probably going to pitch.
Yeah, I would say either that or he's an outfielder too. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he can.
I don't know anything about him, about what he throws or how hard he throws.
He can hit the shit out of the ball too. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, I was actually reading an article. Calvin Johnson and Jeff Samardzija were in the same wide receiver class, and Calvin Johnson made $60 million over the course of his career, and Samardzija signed a 5-year, $90 million deal, and he's an average big league starter. He's not even that good, honestly.
Yeah, I remember hearing
Calvin
about
Johnson
that.
was the best receiver, maybe one of the best ever, and he got paid less than an average big league starter.
Yeah, that's that baseball money, man.
Yeah, I mean, geez, it's hard to pass up.
It really is, and especially when football money is you got 53 or 50 something men on an active roster, so that you can't spread the wealth to everyone's liking ever in the NFL.
And there's no salary cap in the LB.
Yep, they gotta love that. So shall we move on to the Big Ten?
Of course. One second, I'll plug my laptop in real quick. It'll take 1 minute.
Let's do it. While he's doing that, a quick overview of the Big Ten. This might be the best conference in college football as far as not only being top heavy, but definitely there might be a significant drop from when you get to the 5 or 6 best teams in this conference down to the rest. However, there is no doubt that teams like Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, Michigan, and Wisconsin are all going to be contenders to win the conference and are all going to probably be ranked amongst the top 15 when the season begins.
Yeah, the Big Ten's be deep. Even the middle teams, Iowa, Northwestern, Nebraska with Frost coming in. I mean, all those teams could potentially be dangerous. Going to Iowa is never easy.
Yeah, as I said, there are 5 teams in the Big Ten that are inside the top 15 in the opening coaches poll.
Yeah. The East is pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a big Homer Buckeye fan, but even in a non-biased perspective, I'd still probably take Ohio State. They're sort of like Clemson's situation. I see Ohio State possibly dropping a tough big game. They go at Penn State and at MSU. Very likely they drop one of those. But after that, I think all the other big powerhouses more than likely lose 2 games, and Ohio State will have 1 loss and then win the East and then go more than likely play Wisconsin. Wisconsin hasn't beat Ohio State in a long time, but we'll see what happens. I'd still take Ohio State over Wisconsin.
Very long time.
They're just way too talented, not to pick anyone else. You got to pick them.
I would agree with you. no matter if I was an Ohio State fan or not, I would say that's right around par. Michigan State is an interesting case to look at as well. However, what's up?
They bring like everybody back.
Yeah, and on top of that, they have kind of like an even split of their toughest games being on the road and their toughest games being at home. But their schedule is kind of lined up a little strange. Even though their second week 2, we don't really know how good Arizona State's going to be under their first year with Herm Edwards, but they got to go to Arizona State.
24-13 Michigan State win. They win the. That's just type of they should win that game.
Yeah, I would say so. Going to play there though is never easy. They got to go to Penn State, and then they get Michigan and Ohio State at home. Interesting. You got what about Penn State though? I'm looking at Pittsburgh's their toughest non-conference game. Really?
Yeah, they don't play. They don't have anybody. Pittsburgh's all right. I mean, they're a tough team.
Ohio State comes to Penn State. They get and they get Wisconsin coming there too. Their only big game where they have to leave Beaver Park would be going to
Michigan.
Yeah.
Because Michigan got slapped at Penn State last year.
Yes, they did. Then the curious case would be Northwestern.
Yeah, Northwestern is going to be good too. Michigan has to play Northwestern. I have to look at their schedule, but they play like a big game in Northwestern right after.
Yeah, at Northwestern.
Yeah, that could be tough for them.
Michigan, I've been saying it all season. I really think Michigan's going to be talented, but their schedule is so brutal. And going on the road against Notre Dame and Northwestern.
They start at Notre Dame and end at Ohio State.
It's not the most ideal schedule in the world. And you have to play Wisconsin.
Yeah, they got Wisconsin, then Penn State, and then Michigan State.
So you're looking at potentially, if they go to the Big Ten title game, they'll have to end up playing
5 top 20 teams.
Man, even 6 if you're probably right.
They would deserve it more than ever, though. But it's going to be tough for them with a new quarterback, a new system for him. We'll see. The defense is going to be pretty stout for them. The O-line is their biggest question, though, because their O-line has been very bad under Harbaugh. And if you don't got a good O-line, you're not going to do much anything.
And, yeah, I would agree with you, though, in terms of the fact that if they were to go to the Big Ten title game and get all that, they would absolutely deserve it. Their schedule is tough. It's very tough.
A lot of the conference also hangs if the big man down in Columbus returns intact.
Yeah, what do you think is going to be happening down there at Urban Meyer?
At this point, I don't know. I'm done reading everything. I'm just going to let them do their investigation and go on with it. Personally, I don't think he should be fired, but the way things are these days and the way media blows everything up and people get outraged, I see why he would.
Now, the case that I would maybe not make personally or myself, but the case that I would present to you as far as what evidence I would have pointing towards Urban Meyer being fired, it were the subsequent firings of Woody Hayes and Jim Tressel. Yeah,
but Woody Hayes got fired because he socked an other opposing player in the mouth.
Yeah.
I see why he got fired there. And Tressel got fired because he lied to an FBI investigator. And Urban didn't break any rules. He didn't know no rules were broken. He came out and released a press statement saying that he actually reported this incident that everyone thought he lied about or whatever. So if he said he did, there's got to be something on record showing that he did. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. And I think he might get suspended for 3 or 4 games, but he'll be back.
My gut will be that he gets suspended for 2 and that they bring him back for showdown with TCU in Dallas. And that is my biggest non-conference game.
We'll win that game with me calling plays.
And obviously another I would say
the big one is Notre Dame, Michigan.
Yeah, the biggest game in Big Ten play has got to be Michigan going to Notre Dame.
It's got to be Michigan, Notre Dame. They haven't played in 5 years, and
rivalry.
The TCU Ohio State game will be big, but I don't know. We'll see. It's on turf. Ohio State's just going to blow by him on the turf.
Michigan is minus 2.5
Really?
right now. Yeah, Michigan's minus 2.5.
I don't even watch Notre Dame football. Obviously, like who do they even got? Who's their quarterback this year?
Dude, I think is Wimbush back? I do think
Yeah.
Brandon Wimbush is back.
They had that crazy bowl game last year. I watched that dude that caught that tight end that caught that game-winning pass.
Yep. Yep, against when they beat LSU.
It was LSU. Yeah, that was a crazy game.
Now, I'm trying to think. Is Wimbush back or no?
I don't know. I'll
No,
be
yeah,
watching.
he is.
The game's gonna be crazy.
He is, and I think he should probably win that job.
Yeah, game day already said they're going there.
Yep, and I don't see why you wouldn't. That's probably the biggest game of week 1 for sure.
Opening up just with a top team like that, it's tough.
Yeah,
not even knowing what you really got out there, just throwing it against top tier competition immediately.
It would be tough for both teams, to be honest with you.
I'm obviously, as a Ohio State fan, I still count Michigan to win.
Yeah, I think they're more talented for sure than Notre Dame probably is. I'm talking both sides of the ball, and especially on defense. I would say Michigan is more talented than Notre Dame, but you never know. Another couple of interesting games that are also on week 1, because week 1 always has the random Sunday night and Monday night game.
Yeah, because Ohio State played Virginia Tech on a Monday night a few years back.
Yeah, Virginia Tech actually plays Florida State on that Monday night. Really random ACC opening week game.
Like of the two of the best teams too.
And then Sunday night, really interesting game. How about the U and LSU?
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Joe Burrow's very first game.
Yeah, in Jerry World.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Joe Burrow. We're on the Big Ten. I mean, not that I root for another team, but my SEC team this year is gonna be LSU. I hope they beat Bama and all them. It's gonna be tough, but
oh yeah,
Joe Burrow's a good QB. I mean, I saw him. I went to the last 2 spring games because tickets like $10, and you just can walk right in wherever. And Joe Burrow, I mean, he looked pretty good. Just it didn't help that Haskins, he's got a way higher ceiling than he did. So
then Martell as well, both of those guys.
Yeah, Martell too. But yeah, I think Haskins will probably ball out and go to the league, and then it'll be all Martell for a couple years.
Yeah, Martell should be sitting right behind him. So are we both picking Ohio State to win the Big Ten?
Yeah.
All right, moving on to what probably is the weakest conference out of the Power Five, in a conference I personally like to make fun of myself. The Pac-12.
They are not very good. Ohio State beat the crap out of their champion last year in the Rose Bowl. Was it the Rose Bowl? It was the Rose Bowl.
And you have all these big time programs.
Oh, the programs.
But
yeah. USC's, the Washington, Stanford's, UCLA. USC, I don't know. USC's weird. They always drop a couple games every year.
Yeah, and then you have like the curious cases of teams that are going to be moving forward with maybe new coaches, like an Arizona State, like a UCLA. You never know what you're going to get really out of Stanford. I think
he might come and take over the whole conference himself.
Everyone's consensus favorite to win this conference is going to be Washington, with Jake Browning being a senior and getting all those guys back. But man, they gotta play Auburn in the new stadium in Atlanta in week 1. That's tough.
That game is week 1 too?
Yeah, week 1 is stacked.
Wow.
Week 1 is stacked. That'll be awesome. That's the 3:30 pick.
I picked Washington too. I like Stanford. I wanted to pick them, and then I went through the schedule, and they play Oregon and Washington on the road, and then they cross over games with USC and Utah. Those are like the best 4 teams.
Yep.
Outside of them, so they probably play the best 4 teams, and odds are they drop two of them. And Washington probably only had to lose in 1 game, like they do every year, and win the Pac-12.
Yeah,
and probably not go to the playoffs because the conference is going to suck again.
I think Washington's biggest test is going to be Stanford, but Stanford's schedule is pretty brutal. They have to play USC. They got to go at Notre Dame. They got to go at Washington.
And at Oregon.
Yeah, and they also have to go to Oregon.
Oregon will be this year.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Stanford to come out of that conference the winner. I think Washington is definitely the team to beat. That game in Seattle will probably be for all the marbles. That game's on November 3rd. The key player for sure has got to be Bryce Love. I think he's my Heisman front runner as well.
Yeah, Bryce Love or QB from Washington. Forgot his name.
Jake Browning.
Jake Browning. Seems like he's been there for about 5 years, 10 years. Everyone made fun of JT Barrett, but that man's been there forever too.
Yeah, he's he took them to the playoff a year that no one had Washington on their radar to make the playoff. The year that they
beat him up. It was a boring game.
Oh yeah, Bama beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, it was like 24-3 or something.
Yeah, and I see that. I wanted to pick Stanford too until I looked at their schedule. It's going to be tough for them, and a team that could be a dark horse there. No one ever talks about Utah as being competitive in that conference, but they always seem to be upwards of 8-9 wins. I'm not saying they're going to win the Pac-12, but it's always a team to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that one Stanford could always have a great year.
All right, so let's move on to the bread and butter. How about the SEC?
The good old SEC.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'd have to go with Bama. It's obviously between Bama and Georgia. They pretty much are NFL teams at this point. Yeah, I'd have to go with Alabama. Unfortunately, again, they're on a collision course to play Georgia, and you can go with either one of those two teams. But Georgia loses both their running backs. Granted, they're following it up with a stud, but that 1-2 punch they had with them guys all last year, it was tiring. You just run one, run the other. They did it against OU.
Yep.
The whole game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm tired of seeing Alabama win all the time, but they just keep having a top 5 class every single year, and Nick Saban continues to be a genius. It's unfortunate, and it doesn't help that they play nobody. I got it written down right here.
Yeah.
Bama gets Auburn at home this year, and that's about their hardest conference game. And then their out-of-conference schedule is Louisville, Arkansas State, Louisiana Lafayette, and Citadel. And Georgia's out-of-conference is Middle Tennessee State, Austin Peay, and Massachusetts. I mean, that is disgusting, and that should really be a thing for a program as elite as Alabama and Georgia. It's pretty disgusting.
Don't forget Georgia Tech, too.
Who did?
Don't forget Georgia Tech, too, another high-caliber program.
But, man. Oh, Georgia plays Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do play them every year.
At home.
Georgia Tech, will eat the triple option live like they do every year. That's not going to be anything for them. Either way, it's a joke. And even Louisville, at the time Bama scheduled them, Louisville probably didn't look bad, but I'm pretty sure they opened up as 4 touchdown favorites, which that's outrageous. That's probably week 1 too.
Yeah. Oh, Alabama, Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is week 1, and Alabama
59-3.
59-3. I can see it.
I mean, it's
Orlando. Yeah, no, I would take Bama with the spread all day long. They're 3.5 touchdown favorites right now.
Yeah, over Louisville. Yeah, that's outrageous.
Yeah, they should. I would expect that line to move. To be honest with you,
Alabama's gonna be loaded, man. They have all these guys again. They got a sophomore quarterback coming back who just won that title. As long as both of them don't go to the playoffs this year, hopefully just, the winner of the title game just goes, and that's just the end of it. Because last year we got screwed, Ohio State did sort of, because Alabama lost to Auburn, and Auburn went and lost to Georgia, so then they both got in.
Yeah, I think
could it be? I don't know. I don't think anyone will see SEC title again other than them Nados of the world.
Yeah. Alabama and Georgia for sure should be in the SEC title game, unless both teams have to play Auburn. Alabama, you say Alabama gets Auburn at home?
Yeah, because they lost at Auburn last year.
See that knowing that right there, automatically for me,
Alabama's not losing a regular season game. No chance.
Yeah, I don't think that they will.
Unless Tua just ends up not being as good as we think he could be, and he has a really bad game or two.
Their only tough game on the road is LSU.
Yeah, and LSU hasn't beat Bama in a while.
Yeah, and why I take Auburn out of the conversation almost immediately is they have to go to Bama and to Georgia.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Your body's going to hurt.
So I don't think that's going to be that's going to end up playing into Auburn's favor. And also, yeah, you never know if Auburn loses to Washington in week 1. I mean that's I wonder what the prop would be to bet on them winning all 3 of those games. I would say it's enormously high.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go against the grain and pick Georgia. Just I mean, you said it. It could really be either of those teams.
Yeah.
It just really just depends on who might be the healthiest and who might come into that game with the best game plan. But all I know is I'd be excited to see Alabama and Georgia part 2. Just not in the national title game, please.
Yeah. It was a good game. It was a great game. I mean, in the second half at least, but Georgia dominated the first half.
Yes, they did.
And then Saban did something Urban couldn't do and benched his freaking quarterback. That's still crazy to me. They did that.
Yeah, and they might go with both of those guys from what Saban's been saying.
Oh yeah, we were talking about earlier, but no, I mean I saw an interview with what's his face Hurts, and Hurts made it seem like they kind of already made their mind up. He felt like.
Yeah, I don't know.
He said he didn't feel like he had a fair shot at it or whatever, but yeah, he'll probably see playing time when they're beating the crap out of people 60-0. But when they're playing LSU and when they're playing Auburn, it's gonna be 2 in there.
All right, so now that we've gone through all of the Power 5, if we recap, it looks like we're in agreement on pretty much everybody, and I'm just going to go with Georgia to kind of go against the grain a little bit. Let's run through real quick. Power 5 or Group of 5 conference winners. We don't need to go as balls deep as we have been in who we believe might take the crowns in power conferences, but just a couple of quick words. In the American Athletic, you got to go with Central Florida.
Yeah, I went with Central Florida as well. Most efficient quarterback in the country, not named Baker Mayfield, is returning, and Mackenzie Milton. He lost 2 of his top targets and Scott Frost, but the Americans just really not very good. Memphis is the only team that is probably I can't speak, even in the top 50. So UCF should take it again.
Yeah, I agree. And they're bringing in former national title quarterback from Oklahoma. My man Josh Heupel is going to be taking over there. And then going forward, what about the Conference USA? I got the Fighting Lane Kiffins.
Yeah, Mr. Lane Kiffin's going to take the conference again. Once again, same deal in the Conference USA. There's nobody else that's even near Florida Atlantic. The second best team, North Texas, Florida Atlantic beat the crap out of them twice last year. So it's going to be Florida Atlantic again in the Conference USA.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then in the MAC, it's tempting to take the Rockets, being that you and I both find ourselves inside the Toledo zip code as we speak. But I'm going to be going with the Ohio Bobcats. I think you agree with me. Is that correct?
Yeah, I went with Ohio as well. UT lost with their all-time leading touchdown thrower in Logan Woodside. They lost Terry Swanson. They lost a bunch of playmakers. And OU brings back all their playmakers. So, yeah, I have to go with OU this year. They should beat Mac Ship, though, which should be a good game.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. And it would definitely be a good game. I would agree. Just the hat for the for that little blurb right there. In the Mountain West, you seem to like Fresno State.
Yeah, really for no reason, just to not pick Boise State. I have written down Boise State's probably the favor. They have their Brett Rypien, is that how you say his last name? Their QB who's been there forever.
Brett Rypien.
But Fresno State had one of the best defenses in the country last year, and they returned all of that defense, including their quarterback and their top target.
Yeah, I would have to agree. No, I would have to disagree just because I really think that Boise State probably has it. They got to go to Stillwater. I would love to see them knock out Oklahoma State in week 2. That'd be wonderful. Or that's week 3. But yeah, it's hard to imagine anyone else taking that conference. Fresno will be probably right up there though. Sun Belt, you and I both like Arkansas State.
Yeah, they've dominated this one by the past 3 years, and there's no reason to think that they won't again. Yeah, they played Bama, but after that, they're probably going to run the table.
And Bama will get credit for beating another top 25 team, right?
Yeah, they'll probably finish. I'm pretty sure this happened last year. I almost think it was Arkansas State last year. They finished like 25th or 24th, and then Bama gets credit for beating another top 25 team.
I think it was Troy.
Oh, yeah, whatever. It was somebody dumb. Because they only had 2, because the SEC's been garbage.
Yeah, terrible.
Bad. It's their fault. It's been garbage.
What do you got as far as predictions for the college football playoff? Who do you think of the 4 teams that are going to get in?
Just standard, pretty much what a lot of people are picking, but it's probably what's going to happen. Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma. You can flip-flop Alabama, Georgia. You can flip-flop Wisconsin and Ohio State. You can flip-flop maybe Notre Dame and Oklahoma or Clemson. But between those 7 or so, I think, are the 7 contenders. I didn't even put a Pac-12 team in because I just don't think they're going to have a good enough schedule or enough key wins over all these teams to be playing a bunch of good teams.
Yeah, I agree. My prediction would be all of yours except flip-flop in Georgia and Alabama, and obviously you could do so vice versa. I do think Washington will have a say, but it just depends on if they can skate through Pac-12 play unblemished, depending on the Auburn result. If they beat Auburn, though, in week 1, I would say that they're going to have a very, very good chance, being that is their toughest game of the regular season by far. And if they can knock them off, their toughest games remaining will be Stanford in the Pac-12 title game. I would say if Washington wins in week 1, I would like their chances to end up in the playoff.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not gonna, unless they go undefeated, they're not gonna get in over a one-loss ACC, a one-loss SEC, a one-loss Big Ten, or one-loss Big 12.
Yeah, no, I agree.
5 one-loss champions. I mean, I think Pac-12 is gonna be out, depending on how everything shakes out.
Yeah, I agree. And also, as you definitely know, it's a lot better to lose early than it is to lose late.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Notre Dame being good again too makes the college football playoff really interesting because they're not even in a conference, and if they're going to be good, but what if they go undefeated? What are you going to do? They don't knock out a conference title either. It's going to be weird. But hopefully, that's why I kind of want Michigan just to beat them, because it kind of takes them out.
So, as far as Heisman watch is concerned, you got a few guys that are on your radar?
Yeah, just Bryce Love, Jonathan Taylor are pretty much my top 2 guys, just like you, because they're just gonna be getting so many totes. They literally don't even have a backup hardly. It's just them out there, pound the ball all game long. They're the focal point of the offense. Quarterbacks are decent, but they pound the rock.
Yeah, I would agree. And as far as moving down the ladder from there, I think the highest rated quarterback going into this year, guy that probably no one's really talking about just because of the team's star power, would be Khalil Tate out of Arizona. Kid's an animal. And then I would say Kyler Murray is eventually going to be up there as well. And I got to like the chances of J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, Dobbins is going to be splitting a lot of carries with Mike Weber, so it's going to be tough for him to get Heisman recognition when Mike Weber could possibly be better than he is.
Yeah, I would say both of them are going to share a lot of touches, but I think as far as who has the better upside, it's got to be Dobbins in my opinion.
Yeah, but Weber, he does, but Weber has more of the home run speed that we saw with Zeke back in the day. But Weber can hit that hole hard, and he's gone. But yeah, we'll see. Both they're gonna be real good. Both of them are gonna be real good, but we'll see what happens.
I can't wait. Now, obviously, we've touched a little bit on whose schedules are the easiest and who's the hardest. All of the hardest schedules are going to probably fall into those 4 Big Ten East teams, and the easiest being pretty much Bama, Georgia, the SEC Mass.
Yeah, as well as the Pac-12. Oregon opens up with Bowling Green, Portland State, and San Jose State. So Oregon doesn't seem to have too hard of a schedule, and then the Pac-12, which it's whatever.
Yeah, and Bama and Georgia. The Georgia non-conference schedule has me pretty weak. You said I got to look at that again. Georgia, yeah, Austin Peay, Middle Tennessee,
and Massachusetts,
UMass, and Georgia Tech. UMass's home games used to be played at the Gillette Stadium where the Patriots play.
I didn't even know that. That's interesting.
Dude, they would literally have like 400 people show up.
Let's go fight. Let's go cheer for the good old UMass football team. Can't wait.
Dude, like literally.
Georgia's going to win the game 100-3.
Yeah, and it's at home. So.
Oh, man, that's outrageous that you're allowed to schedule that team.
Dude, I'm trying to see if I can pull up a picture of how they used to be. I remember one year I saw Jordan Strack tweet something about it because he was there for a Toledo game, and I was just in tears at how little people were there. All right, let's see. Google Images. Because, I mean, yeah, you would pack in one of the worst teams in – okay, here's a good one. Check this out.
The front rows I am filled up.
There's no one there, man.
It's like a Marlins baseball game.
Oh, here's a really good one. Wait, there it is.
Yeah, it looks like you're just practicing.
No one is there.
It's like a practice.
That might be the UT game, to be honest with you.
There's probably more UT people there.
I don't know, but regardless, yeah, no one would show up. That's a solid.
Wait, it's home for UMass?
Yeah.
Georgia's going to UMass.
Oh no. Georgia has them at home.
I'm about to say, obviously they have at home.
Yeah, that would be outrageous.
Georgia would not be doing that.
Yeah, no, not even a chance. As far as All-Americans go, Nash Greer
sort of hard to predict. You just gotta guess.
Yeah, really. You like Nash Greer as your guy from West Virginia.
Yeah, divine sensation himself, Nash Greer.
Man, Nash Greer.
That kid's a weenie.
I really put Nash Greer on the thing too.
I know, I saw that.
I did it out of a joke, probably in the moment.
But yeah, I took Will Greer just because he's gonna be slinging it a crap load at West Virginia. What did he get busted for at Florida? Steroids?
Yeah, PEDs, bro.
No way. West Virginia found a gold mine because he's going to be an NFL quarterback more than likely.
Yeah, easily. And I can't imagine someone coming into Florida and taking his spot.
Yeah, no, he's at Florida right now. The head starting QB.
And yeah, being that Florida has not been good at all at the quarterback position since Tebow's left.
Yeah, they've been horrible.
Who is even their coach?
They got what MC? I don't know how to spell his name.
Will Muschamp's not there.
Not Muschamp, but MCW. No.
Oh, they got Dan Mullen.
Do they have Dan Mullen?
Yeah, Dan Mullen left Mississippi State for them because that's where he went to Mississippi State from. He was the OC. Yeah, it is Dan Mullen.
Yeah, it is.
That's interesting. I'm sure that's what they needed, to be honest with you. They needed an offensive jolt. And if you can get guys like Dak Prescott and others to give a jolt to a Mississippi State football program, if you're Dan Mullen, you could probably win some games in Florida.
Well, I was thinking of the coach before Dan Mullen, Jim McElwain.
Yeah, Jim McElwain. Yeah, he was gone.
Yeah, he was garbage.
Yeah, he was terrible.
They lost like a D2 team when he was there.
Yeah, they lost to Georgia Southern.
Yeah, they just really haven't been that great since Urban.
Nope. And really Tebow. And
yeah, once Urban lost Tebow, he really – I mean, granted, those Tebow teams were absolutely loaded outside of him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they were. I like Drew Lock from Missouri. I think that he's probably my All-American as a quarterback. Running backs, it's Bryce Love and Jonathan Taylor and then everybody else.
Yeah, they're the best by far.
Wide receivers, a little interesting. I think you and I both have David Sills from West Virginia, and then I like A.J. Brown from Ole Miss.
Yeah, they just took Marquise Brown from your Sooners. Just Big 12 throws the rock a lot, and a receiver could easily get All-American from there.
Yeah, Marquise Brown is a stud, and he should probably be catching a lot of balls, probably upwards of 10 to 12 touchdowns. Noah Fant's the best tight end in America from Iowa.
Yeah, I have him too. He tore Ohio State up last year.
As we can go ahead and move to the defensive line. In a year that defensive line, next year's NFL draft will be the greatest defensive line class ever.
Yeah, it'll be Bosa, Gary, Oliver, Dexter Lawrence will be headlining that. And those four will be headlining it. It's crazy they're all in the same grade.
Yeah, Cleveland Farrell
All
too,
junior.
all those guys. But
Although
if you,
Farrell's a senior, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, you're probably right.
Because I think one of the Clemson guys came back and he was. They got Lawrence, Farrell, and who's the other one?
Lawrence Farrell.
Forgot the other guy's name.
Yeah. Really, all of them are going to go in the top. All of them are gonna go inside of the Here, I'm pulling it up. Clemson football.
Are in the first round though.
They literally all could.
Yeah, it's
yeah. Here they all are. Yeah, you got Austin Bryant, Christian Wilkins.
Wilkins is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, they're going to be absolutely loaded. But as far as defensive linemen go outside of Clemson, Ed Oliver might be the best college football player in America.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast. I'm obviously biased with Bosa, and I watch him every single game, but that dude could have played in the NFL last year.
Yeah, 100%. And then Rashawn Gary at Michigan, and obviously your boy Nick Bosa from Ohio State would probably round out my All-America.
Yeah, pretty much same here.
Devin Bush is a guy that we both like as a linebacker from Michigan. Devin White from LSU as well. I had Josh Allen, linebacker from Kentucky. Weird that he shares the same name with Wyoming standout quarterback.
Yeah, and I just picked another Big Ten guy, TJ Edwards, because I watched Big Ten the most, and he was a stud last year, and he's going to be a stud again this year.
He is going to be a stud, 100%. We both like Byron Murphy, corner out of Washington. DeAndre Baker out of Georgia is a guy that I think could possibly be All-America status.
Yeah, and then I picked a guy, Mark Gilbert from Duke, who's going to be a top cornerback prospect in the upcoming draft.
Yep. And then we both like Jaquan Johnson from Miami.
Yeah, he was always running that turnover chain last year.
Yep, always. Taylor Rapp for Washington gets my vote.
Yeah, another Big Ten guy, Cleaky Hudson from Michigan. Watched him play obviously last year, so I watched Big Ten, and he's a hell of a safety. He runs that hybrid role that Don Brown has over there at Michigan.
And what's up with Utah having the best special teams unit?
Yeah, honestly, I just Googled who won these awards in the past, and it was this guy. This guy won 2 years ago or something, and he's still there kicking balls at Utah.
Yeah, Matt Gay and Mitch Wishnowski.
Yeah, they're going to be having a good field position and making lots of field goals this year.
Yeah, tons of. There's and Tony Pollard from Memphis is both of our returnees.
Yeah, he won last year, I'm pretty sure.
So closing it out, some final thoughts. I can't wait for it all to get started, my man.
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, as a Ohio State fan, my life's kind of put on hold until I figure out if the old ball coach is back. But either way, even if he doesn't come back, they got Shiano, they got two other young coaches, and Alex Grinch and Ryan Day, who are going to be future college coaches somewhere else, if not Ohio State. So they'll be in good hands regardless. But he should be back, and we'll see what happens. Should be a good year. Lots of good teams again this year. I guess not really lots of good teams. It's going to be like between 8 teams who I think are going to win it all. But that's just what happens in college football. The best teams, they get the best players.
Yeah, I just can't wait. I'm excited for it to be, for it to be underway. They're doing that weird thing again where the season starts a week before technically. Or August 25th is
before Labor Day.
There's 4 games on August 25th that are literally games that matter to pretty much nobody. And then, the season will get really started on that there. What I found interesting is that Thursday, the 30th of August, Northwestern and Purdue open up against each other, and Purdue is favored.
Purdue's actually who's their head coach over there? Forgot his name.
Brom.
Yeah,
Jeff Brom.
they won their bowl game last year, and they had a winning record. They look to be, turning around against some decent players. They should be decent too. I didn't mention them in like the middle of the Big Ten as well. Purdue, along with Iowa and Northwestern, and Big Ten.
I would agree that they're going to be a team to look out for in the Big Ten. So thank you for coming on, my friend. I appreciate it. This just really hyped my excitement for college football even more.
Yeah, hell yeah, I can't wait.
I can't wait either. For those of you that subscribe to this podcast and listen to it, you should know by now that I always have to give a shout out to my friends over at BetMMA.Tips. And if you have any type of reason to want an inside edge on picking your next fight, the handicappers over at BetMMA.Tips are the best in the business. It's at BetMMA.Tips on Twitter and BetMMA.Tips/DavidsonBakerGG if you want to see my picks. So that's about it for us. For my friend Tyler Rice and I, that will be it for episode 27. I'll be back on, I believe, Thursday. Tino and Mr. Jared Lyle will be joining me to discuss what we're going to see this year out of European football. Should be a good one. All right. So without further ado, that should be it for this episode, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, signing off.